back to my channel. I know that I was away on Sunday, but today's video is going to be a good one, so please stay tuned if you're interested in seeing what we're talking about in terms of situationships. Hey guys, okay, so I know the setup is a little bit different. Fear not, it's just another setting that I'm going to be filming in, so I hope you guys like the new space that I'm in. Secondly, like I said in the intro, I wanted to do a video on Sunday. Sundays and Wednesdays are going to be my normal my normal upload dates. But this Sunday, I really wanted to start off with my YouTube live events. Unfortunately, the time escaped me and I wasn't able to do it on Sunday. So this Sunday, stay tuned. We're going to do our very first YouTube live event. And that will just be me online posing a question and then getting your guys' feedback, your input, your questions, and us just kind of chatting, getting to know one another and seeing kind of where the conversation goes from there. Hopefully it's successful. Hopefully it's something that you guys really enjoy seeing and want to be a part of, and then we can continue on with it into the future and maybe do it a couple of times a month. So it'll be a Sunday sip and chat with Mo. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So this video is specially for the topic of situationships. And the reason why I've dedicated it to that is because I've had a couple of questions with a couple of different people about what exactly a situationship is. And with Valentine's Day coming up and the month of February coming up, and we all know it's filled with love and all the gushy stuff, I wanted to kind of start to talk about relationships, and in this instance, situationships and what that means. So a situationship can normally be defined by two people who are in a relationship that is untitled, where the lines have kind of been blurred, where communication isn't that great. Maybe one of the two people really want to be in a titled relationship, but it's just not happening. It's just not progressing. And you've pretty much been stagnant with your partner. And that's not to say that all relationships that are untitled are situationships, because quite frankly, not everyone wants to be in a situationship, and maybe both parties in a relationship don't really want to be in a relationship, titled relationship. So this is not a overarching or umbrella definition. It's just when one person out of the relationship, one person in the party just kind of is feeling like, hey, I want this to progress to something more than just, hey, this is my friend to my family, and just have it be awkward because I really like this person, but they're not willing to commit to me in the same way that I want to commit to them. So I myself have been in several situationships, and I will go off on the record and say that I learned from all of them. And that's not to say that, you know, I was just playing the fool. I wanted relationships and these guys just wouldn't give it to me. But a lot of the times it was me also who was just not ready to commit, not ready to put a title on anything. And that was just me wanting to be ignorant to the fact that maybe they were seeing other people, they were talking to other people, and not wanting to get my heart hurt or broken or too invested. So I shielded myself by saying, no, I rather just kind of be in limbo, if you will. And that can be hurtful. You know, that can be damaging, because when you start to open yourself up to somebody and there becomes this expectation on what they're responsible for in terms of, you know, keeping themselves accountable, making sure that they're doing the right thing by you, but there's not this boundary or limitation that they have, you know, it opens itself up to people getting hurt, feelings getting hurt, hearts being broken. And I found myself in a lot of those situations. Now, I'm not going to speak specifically about each one of them because I feel like that's pointless, and it also is not going to be conducive to me getting my full point across, that when you want to be with somebody in a relationship, especially if you're a timid person like myself, or if you're, you know, wanting to guard your heart and protect yourself, but at the same time you like this person enough to say, hey, like, I don't want them really talking to anybody else, or I want this to be exclusive, but I don't know how to bring up this conversation. You know, you need to be aware that without those conversations, it really lends itself to hearts being hurt, feelings being hurt, other people being in your relationship, and overall end product, a situationship. So for 2018, some of the things that I really want to kind of put out there and encourage you guys to have in your new relationships, in your already established relationships, are three main things, and that being openness, accountability, and emotional stability. And so I'm just going to talk briefly about each of them and how to use those tools to make sure that you don't find yourself liking somebody so much to the point where you would do anything for them, but them not feeling the same way and them hurting. So first of all, openness. Openness is so important, because if you aren't open with your expectations, with your wants, with your requirements, with any and everything when it comes to getting to know somebody in the initial stages, then there's going to be a lot of misinterpretation of things that you may be feeling, of things that they may be feeling. And so if you're not open, they're not going to know the full spectrum of what they can expect from you and what your expectations are of them. And so it's so important to be open and honest with yourself first and foremost. And that means knowing what your boundaries are, knowing what your limitations are, knowing what your expectations are, standing by your morals and things that you hold dear to your heart, and then making sure that the person that you really like or you want to invest time into knows those things as well. And so when you guys are on the same page with being open, then you can kind of sift through and say, you know what, I can't really get down with these things that you're expecting of me, because that's not where I am. And at least if you're open in that way at the beginning stages, there's not really much room for there to be blurred lines. Once you lay everything out, and I'm not saying that you go into your very first date giving these people your social security number, but I am saying that, you have to be open with your expectations, open and honest with how you feel about what you want out of the relationship, and kind of go from there. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is accountability. And especially in this day and age, people tend to stray away from taking accountability for their actions. They want to do things, they want to say things, but not be accountable for the repercussions that those things have. And that's not just, as you may know, confined to the dynamics of a relationship, a romantic relationship. This can be applied to anything in life, but for the purposes of this, you need to know that whoever you're with or whoever you're talking to, whoever you're trying to build something with, is going to be accountable for their actions. And not only that they know how to recognize when they haven't been accountable and they're apologetic, not because of the way that they made you feel, but because of their actions. And that's another key thing. You have to be able to recognize when people are saying, I'm sorry for the way that I made you feel, and I'm sorry for my actions. Because when someone is saying that they're sorry for the way that they made you feel, they're not necessarily being accountable, taking themselves accountable for their actions. They're just saying, you know what, I'm sorry that you took what I said the wrong way, or I'm sorry that that's how your mind thought of what I was saying. They're not saying, I apologize for my actions and they were wrong. They're not recognizing and taking, again, accountability for their actions. They're just sorry about the repercussions that they had. And that doesn't make for anything that's healthy. And you have to be aware of that. And I also want to point out that when people are apologizing to you and when they are, taking accountability for their actions, be sure that you are saying things like, I accept your apology, as opposed to it's okay. And I really had to train myself not to do that anymore, because it's not okay. When someone hurts you, it's not okay. You wouldn't be expecting an apology if it was okay. So you need to learn to train yourself to say, you know what, I accept your apology. It wasn't okay, but I accept it and we're willing to move forward. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was emotional stability. And emotional stability is very much something that you have to go into a new situation and a new relationship with. You have to recognize your weaknesses, things that may trigger you to be emotionally unstable, and recognize the time that you may need to put into getting yourself to a space where things that ought not bother you, but you know how to handle them. And emotional stability can also lend itself to being open. Again, with some of my other talking points, openness and accountability. When you're emotionally stable, you can assess the situation and look outside of how you're feeling to recognize how you are making someone else feel. And especially if you're a guy and you are, taking accountability, you're open with how you are feeling and your expectations for a girl that you're trying to pursue. When it comes to emotional stability, you're also going to recognize, this girl is at a space where she wants commitment that I'm not ready or available to give to her. And I'm not emotionally in a place where I can be 100% open with her and I can be vulnerable with her. And a lot of times guys go in with this false perception that we as women have all of these expectations for them, and it's really not the case. A lot of the times we just want you to be able to be honest with how you're feeling and where you're at, and to not take away our autonomy for our decision making. And I actually had a friend that I chatted with, shout outs to the night, about sometimes when guys withhold the truth from you and they aren't transparent with the things that they're going through and the things that they're feeling, they in their minds are thinking that, I'm doing this to protect her. And in doing so, you're really taking away her ability to make a sound decision as to what she wants. If she's going to get mad, she's going to get mad regardless of whether or not you tell her. And at the end of the day, you need to be honest and be open with your partner or this person that you're pursuing so that they can make a decision based on complete facts and not fragments of your inability to be, transparent with her. And it's unfair. It's unfair when guys do those things. And so be aware of that when guys are trying to make excuses and cover up certain things and withhold important pieces of information that prevent you from making a full, well-rounded decision about your relationship. So with that being said, that's pretty much all the things that I wanted to talk about in regards to situationships. And I hope that, it's helpful for you to hear these things, to kind of apply them to your own relationships, to be thoughtful and mindful about entering a situationship and what that looks like if you are in a situationship and you want to kind of get out of a situationship. I hope that those points, you can apply them and use them and talk about them with your partner. And I hope that you will leave your comments below if any of these things work for you, if you've tried any of these things before. If you want more suggestions, please feel free to comment below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tag this video on all of your social media. Let your friends know about it, and we'll talk soon. Bye.